The Bible, a book that refused to die. This book has been burned, banned, buried beneath empires. It has been copied by candlelight, smuggled across borders, whispered in prisons, and hidden in caves. Kings feared it. Empires tried to erase it. And yet, it survived. The Bible is the most translated, most distributed, and most disputed book in human history, written over thousands of years by dozens of authors across deserts, dungeons, palaces, and battlefields. But this raises a dangerous question. Where did it come from? Who decided what belonged inside it? And how did fragile ancient writings become the Bible? To answer that, we must go back to a world before books could even survive, before printing presses, before paper, before ink was common. Stories lived in memory, history was sung, laws were spoken. Faith was passed from mouth to ear, generation to generation. In the ancient world, forgetting was death. The earliest foundations of the Bible emerged in the ancient Near East, among shepherds, slaves, wanderers, and exiles. These people believed their God was not locked inside a temple. He moved with them through deserts, through suffering, through time. Around 1400 to 1200 BCE, these stories were finally written down on scrolls made from animal skin using ink mixed from ash and stone. This was not one book. It was the birth of a library. The first great section of the Bible is known as the Hebrew Scriptures. Not a single voice, but many, law and poetry, songs of joy and screams of despair, stories of creation, collapse, and hope that refuse to die. Tradition speaks of names like Moses, David, Solomon, and Isaiah, but these writings were shaped over centuries. Scribes copied every letter by hand. One mistake could destroy months of work. To them, these were not just words, they were breath, sacred, alive. The Bible was not written to glorify kings or hide failure. It recorded doubt, fear, betrayal, and regret. Heroes fell, leaders failed, prophets questioned God and sometimes received no answer. No empire would write a book like this. Some of the Bible's most powerful words were written in darkness. Psalms cried out from caves. Lamentations was written in the ashes of a fallen city. Prophets spoke warnings no one wanted to hear. The Bible did not hide pain. It preserved it, a people wrestling with God and refusing to let go. In 586 BCE, Jerusalem fell. The temple was destroyed. The city burned. The people were dragged into exile. This should have ended everything. Instead, it saved it. Stripped of land and power, the people clung to their writings. They organized them, protected them, and defined themselves by them. Faith became portable. Scripture became identity. Centuries later, ancient scrolls hidden in caves near the Dead Sea were discovered. More than 2,000 years old. When scholars compared them to modern biblical texts, the words had survived almost unchanged. The message endured. These texts were not frozen in time. They were copied, preserved, and carefully edited. Margins carried notes, scrolls carried generations, yet the core message remained stubbornly intact, not because it was controlled, but because it was shared. Then, something unsettling happened. Silence. For nearly 400 years, no new scripture emerged. Empires shifted, kingdoms rose and fell. Rome ruled with iron, taxes crushed the poor, violence was routine. The silence was heavy. The world waited for a voice to speak again. And then, under Roman occupation, in a forgotten province called Judea, a voice broke the silence. He was not a king. He commanded no army. He wrote nothing himself. Yet his life would split history in two. Jesus of Nazareth spoke of loving enemies, of caring for the poor, of a kingdom not built on violence, but sacrifice. That message was not safe. It was revolutionary. Rome responded the only way it knew how, with execution. After his death, his followers claimed something impossible, that he had risen. They told the stories. Then they wrote letters. Between 50 and 100 CE, the New Testament took shape, within living memory of the events. The Gospels were written by different authors, for different audiences, in different places. Early Christians gathered in secret. Scripture was read aloud, copies spread quietly and relentlessly across the empire. To own these writings could cost your life. Still, they multiplied. For the first 3 centuries, Christianity was illegal. Believers were imprisoned, executed in arenas, fed to beasts. Their scriptures were confiscated and burned publicly. The more it was crushed, the more it spread. Blood became ink. Not every early Christian writing survived. By the 4th century, a question could no longer be avoided. Which writings were truly sacred? Leaders looked for 3 things: connection to eyewitnesses, consistency with established teaching, and widespread use among believers. They did not invent the Bible. They recognized what already refused to disappear. The result became the 66-book canon known today. Once the Bible gained influence, it gained enemies and manipulators. Words were twisted to justify wars. Verses were isolated to control the masses. The same book that freed some was used to enslave others. This tension never disappeared. Sacred texts are powerful, especially in the wrong hands. For centuries, the Bible existed in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. Then came translation and danger. Translators were hunted. Some were burned alongside their work. But words outlived flames. When the printing press arrived, the Bible exploded across the world. It crossed oceans, shattered monopolies, challenged kings. Once again, it refused to die. Today, the Bible fits in a pocket. It is quoted on screens, debated online, dismissed, defended, misunderstood. Some see faith, some see fiction. Some see history's most dangerous book, but no one ignores it. Thousands of years have passed. The authors are dust. The empires are ruins. The original scrolls are gone. And yet, the words remain, read by billions, hated by some, loved by others. This book did not survive because it was easy. It survived because it was challenged, questioned, attacked, and still endured. So the question is no longer how it survived. The real question is, why does it still matter?